at the Committee of 70. I am Pat Christmas, Policy Director here at 70. Polls are opening in a couple weeks, Tuesday, November 5th. It is a big election. I know the headlines out of DC are relentless and keep coming, but local politics, local governance matters a great deal. Mayor, all of city council, judicial offices, ballot questions, a couple state appellate judicial races as well. A whole bunch of offices that matter immensely for folks here in Philly. And in getting ready, we're having folks running for city council come through the office today. We got Joe Cox. Joe, welcome.
Thank you.
Independent running for city council at large.
Yes.
Of course, city council has 17 seats, 10 of which are district specific. We also have 7 at-large seats. And Joe, you're running for one of those. I'm going to pull the lens back, and we have 15 minutes here. We'll see how much ground we can cover. Do you think Philly is on the right track or not?
I think in some ways it is, and a lot of ways it isn't.
Okay.
Personally, I believe that we're not looking out for the interests of everyday people and the street citizens of the city. Believe that we have too much interest into big corporations like Comcast and Amazon, and not your everyday people. That's a big reason why I'm running for city council.
Okay. So let's elaborate a bit on that. So this is your first run for office?
Yes.
Okay. So what is your bigger pitch for you being a public official, and what experience do you have civically, professionally, politically that'll make you ready to do the work on day one?
Well, politically, Bernie Sanders got me involved in 2016. I did 8 Bernie marches, helped in the March on DNC. That was a big reason. Got me inspired to get involved politically. I announced why I was involved in the Occupy ICE movement in Philadelphia. After that, I started thinking about running for office. Since then, I announced over a year ago that I was running for city council, and I've been to every single city council hearing since then. That's more than 4 of the incumbents. I quit my job about 6 months ago as a bike messenger. I actually biked to the Capitol with my dogs for a protected bike lane bill. I went there for fair funding for the schools, raising the minimum wage, affordable housing, medical marijuana, banning bribes on legislators, which I feel is one of the biggest problems in America. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you have a great Tuesday, great November 5th. You win one of these seats. There's a bit of discussion and debate around who will actually win all these 7 at-large seats. So traditionally, at least for a good number of years, while this has been a Democratic stronghold in Philly, there have been 5 of the 7 members are Democratic. The other 2 have traditionally gone to Republicans, but the law actually is not, doesn't say these are for Democrats, these are Republicans. The 5 seats go to the majority party, and then the 2 would go to the non-majority party. So this could be Republicans, independents, third-party candidates. So let's say you win a seat, and we're not certain what the composition of council will be next year, but it'll be mostly consisting of Democrats. And what would be your top legislative priority once you get in there?
Big thing I plan to do is create more public bathrooms.
Okay.
I believe that affects every single person, but more so it affects people that are low income and street citizens. And we want to clean Philadelphia. We don't want it to smell. It shouldn't be crazy to figure out where the smell's coming from and why. We're not providing basic resources. It's a basic human right, and everybody should have equitable access to a public bathroom. Every park should have a bathroom. Bathrooms should be at your areas that have higher traffic. Yeah.
Is this something that you've been making the case for on the trail? I know that there are other cities in the United States and elsewhere that have public bathroom facilities. I mean, and how's it been received?
Most people are very for it. As soon as I say it, they're like, yes. I actually knocked on somebody's door and they said it before I said it. And I told a story before about on Instagram, somebody posted a picture of poop at a Burke station, and somebody said, I don't think I've ever been to that station and not seen that. This shouldn't be rocket science. If there's crap on the ground, maybe you should put a bathroom there so people have somewhere to go. And there's diseases that are going out because there's nowhere for anybody to use the bathroom. As you said, this has been done before. DC actually implemented it last winter. They're tax incentivizing local businesses to open their doors for people to use the bathrooms, and they're going to put in self-cleaning bathrooms where there's higher traffic. So I think it's very important. It's the first step, I believe, to providing some of those more rights to people that they should have.
Yeah. So what's something that you would, I mean, a couple ways to phrase this. I mean, that you would vote against, always at all costs, or something that you would try to peel back that's currently on the books, currently in law, something that you oppose.
It's not current law, but I know a mayor in the past in Philadelphia tried to make it law that you couldn't feed street citizens or homeless people in Philadelphia, and I'm very against saying anything that says anything like that. Actually, there was a campaign under this mayor that had signs that said, "Don't give to the homeless," and I think it's ridiculous for one to tell somebody what to do with their money, but also not to give to people that obviously need some help. Now, like, it's one thing to say don't give money, give food or whatever, but to specifically tell somebody they can't give to somebody that needs your help, I think that's ridiculous, and we should never make any sort of law like that.
Yeah. Okay. So you just listed a top priority of yours that you would work for affirmatively, something that you would try to to push back on. What are some of the other issues on your agenda? I mean, if you were to win a seat, you would have 4 years at least in your first term to work on stuff. So what are some other issues that are top of mind for you?
I would definitely want to push the end of the abatement.
Okay.
I believe that's a lot of money we're missing out on for the schools that desperately need it. Our schools are in conditions that should really be illegal, I believe. We should also do everything in our power to push Penn and other giant nonprofits to pay pilots payments in lieu of taxes. I think that's very important. That'd be like billions of dollars that would go back into our system that we drastically need. I would like to push to end stop and frisk in Philadelphia, push to have meetings with the DA and have hearings to do that. I think those are a couple big things that I want to do.
Yeah. Okay. And so, and also again, like on the trail, like those are some of the top issues you've heard from from voters.
And stop and frisk definitely resonates in any area you go in, but more so in poorer people of color type communities.
Yeah. Okay.
People, you can sit outside and have that. It's been on my bike. I'm sure you've seen, and people will just come up and tell you their story, how it's happened to them. I've heard lots of stories about how they've just been targeted just because of the color of their skin, and or because they're poor, or because it also happens to street citizens. And we need to do everything in our power to make sure racism and classism doesn't exist in Philadelphia and all of America.
Yep. So let's spend some of our remaining time on traditional good government issues that of course C70 has been around for a great many years. Back in 1904 is when we were founded. Most of our work over that time has been based here in Philly, but we go to Harrisburg as well, as you have been, since some of our laws have to be changed there by the General Assembly and then assigned by the governor. Redistricting, election law in particular are big items that are at the state level right now. But there's a lot that can be changed here in Philly. We have our own campaign finance rules, our own ethics rules. City council draws their political districts. That's something that folks aren't talking a whole heck of a lot right now. So again, like assuming that you were to win a seat on the body, what issues that would you either, because you have a position on them already, start to push, or what issues do you think should be explored, in city council and amongst Philadelphians? Good government issues that get at our democracy and how decisions are made in City Hall.
Well, and for term limits, we talked about that before. I'm for I think a 3-term would be a good max, because I've heard that it's hard to get big things done without that time. For definitely redistricting. Actually was at a meet and greet recently, and somebody brought up the fact that there's several reasons why we should work on renewing our charter, because it was made when things were much different, much more racist, but specifically because of the charter, of the fact that 5 seats go to one party. We could do something, I don't know, to make it even more equitable. I think so I'm an actual true independent, and I believe we don't need more Democrats. I believe we need somebody that's calling out both sides of the spectrum. So more sides the better, more representation the better. It's clear that the one party isn't doing that much better than the 2 seats. We need somebody that's calling out both. They seem to be working together. That's a lot of the problem there.
Yeah, I mean, I think something that we would agree on, here at C70, is the fact that political competition is important at every level of government, and in Philly at the local level, and that's at the state level for our state level offices. There is not a lot of competition. I mean, there's sometimes there's a competitive primary within the Democratic Party. Oftentimes there's not, and that's generally not a healthy state of affairs. So, I'll ask this: even though election law does have to be changed at the state level, do you think we should be changing the way our elections work entirely? I mean, there's been open primaries broached in Harrisburg. Ranked choice voting actually is something that Senator Williams has mentioned. Do you think we should be talking about?
I was there clapping for that. Actually, I was
right
there.
So that's something. You
I was
support.
there.
Okay.
I wasn't there for that specifically. I was there for I don't fighting for something. I forget what it was exactly, but I saw him speaking on that, and I was like, yes, right. I was clapping for ranked choice, open primaries. I'm also for same-day registration. I'm making it a holiday. We need to do everything we can to make it easier. I was on a radio show not that long ago, and he was telling me about how there's a lot of different areas make it so there's 2 days you vote. It's on a weekend, 2 12-hour days, and you see a picture of the person too. You vote on you hit the person, and there's a picture and a symbol.
Huh.
Yeah, that'd be
interesting. In addition, like to the candidate's name,
yeah,
there's a picture and a symbol. Huh? I guess is the idea that altogether that information is generally more accessible for all voters. I mean, obviously, if you have text, an actual picture of the voter and a symbol, and that's voters will be able to more easily distinguish between especially for folks who are less literate than others.
I think it definitely. I mean, I'm sure it would help me, honestly. Yeah. People like the fact that I'm definitely different. If that wasn't obvious, people, I've knocked on people's doors and they said, yes, let's get a pink mohawk on city council. Right. We can change it up. We need something different in city council.
I mean, I was going to say, I mean, between the dress, the hair, the bike. I mean, you have a way to get your message out constantly, and you stand out in the crowd. I guess that's been helpful.
Being visible definitely helps a lot. That's for sure. Yeah.
Terrific. So, let's come back just to one more of these issues because it's just not something that's getting discussed a whole lot. I mean, so redistricting reform at the state level is a top priority for C70 and a number of other organizations, Fair Districts, League of Voters, Common Cause, and we're still hopeful that something can get done there. City council redraws its districts as well. We have 10 of these districts, and the way it works in council is basically a bill is introduced. That bill describes how the districts would be drawn, and there can be a hearing on that bill. If it's approved by council, it can go to the mayor, who can sign to approve it or veto it. So it's a pretty similar process actually to the way our congressional districts are drawn right now in Pennsylvania, and the way redistricting works in a lot of cities and states. Do you think that process should change at all, or is it does it suffice the way it is, just for a simple bill to be introduced?
From what I've seen, it needs to be redone. I don't know how exactly how it would be done, but I've been told, and I think it's crazy. I knocked on somebody's door and they told me they have 3 council people for that one house. That seems a little weird.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure if that's the case.
You better have the best service.
Yeah.
Just tell them all that it's you. Yeah.
So I mean, one of the things at the state level, I mean, there's been a lot of advocacy around an independent commission of some sort. Other proposals call for an advisory commission that would prepare a map or set of maps that would then go to the legislature for approval. I mean, are those the sorts of like big reforms that we should potentially be talking about here in Philly?
Yeah.
Charter?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give we have another minute or two. What else should folks know about you, and what's your big case for folks to keep you in mind on Tuesday, on November 5th?
I think people should vote for me. I've been fighting very hard, running for over a year. I'm a true independent. I think we really need true independent representation, somebody that's going to call out both sides. I've been a bike messenger in Philadelphia for over 7.5 years. That's a big reason why I'm running in city for city council, seeing how deadly our roads are. From the lack of infrastructure, the deadly potholes, the lack of knowledge. There's 40+ hit and runs a day in Philadelphia. But yet we have the highest population of cyclist commuters. We have the highest population of disabled citizens. We need to do much better. I started a nonprofit PMA bike ride that goes around helping low-income people and street citizens. We give anybody that is hungry pizza with no questions asked. We've given out over 4,000 pizzas. We go around providing acknowledgement and connection as people. I really believe that these issues need to be talked about much louder at a city council level.
Okay. All right. So Joe Cox, independent, running for city council at large. Again, election day is Tuesday, November 5th. Polls will be open all day. For nonpartisan resources to get ready to vote, go to 70.org. There we have our voter guide, our links to our digital ballot tool that we've been using the past several years, our list of voter rights, and information on critical voting procedures. For folks who want to keep all this information handy on their phone, the We Vote app is the tool for you. Download it wherever you download your apps at home. See you on election day.